I'm going to show you how to do a half double crochet. The abbreviation for half double crochet is HDC, and the symbol for half double crochet looks like this. I'm using US crochet terminology. In the UK, this would be called a half treble crochet. I've worked a foundation chain to begin. This foundation chain has 7 chains, but you can begin with any number. I'll begin by tensioning the yarn through my non-dominant hand. If you're right-handed, this means your left hand holds the yarn. If you're left-handed, that means the right hand holds the yarn. So tension it through your fingers any way that works for you, but make sure that the working yarn is coming over the index finger from back to front. The dominant hand holds the hook. So right-handers hold the hook in your right hand, left-handers hold the hook in your left hand. My thumb and my middle finger are going to hold the work that's coming off the hook. So I can actually pinch this and let go if I need to. I'm not usually doing it that tightly, but this is controlling what's coming off the hook. So here I am set up in my neutral position, which is where I'm going to start every time. The first half double crochet goes into the 3rd chain from the hook. Not counting the loop on the hook, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 chains, and that's the chain that my first stitch is going into. To work half double crochet, I begin with a yarn over. So I push back with my hook to create a yarn over. So the yarn is going from upper right to lower left if I'm right-handed, or upper left to lower right if I'm left-handed. Insert the hook into the chain. So right under the bottom loop there of that chain, when I insert the hook, I've got 2 strands going across the top of the hook. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Make sure I pull it up sufficiently so it's not too tight down there. And then yarn over again and pull through all 3 loops on my hook. To do that, I'm going to have to rotate the hook down so that it can pass through all those loops, and I'm using my thumb and my middle finger to help pull that work over the stitches. So there's my first half double crochet. Let's do that again. Yarn over, go into the next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull it up so it's not too tight, then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Make sure that you are creating that final stitch way up on the shaft of your hook, not down here in the throat, or your stitches will be too tight. So make sure that when you pull up that loop, you're getting it onto the fat part of the hook. Do that one more time. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. Make sure that loop gets all the way onto the fat part. Then yarn over and pull through all 3. I'll do that in each chain across. After I've worked in each chain across, I still have a little slip knot here. That is not a stitch. I do not put my hook into that stitch. Let's stop and count how many stitches I've done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches plus that turning chain. So the turning chain, where we skipped the chains in the beginning, can count as a stitch or it can not count as a stitch. And with half double crochet, sometimes it counts as a stitch and sometimes it doesn't count as a stitch. Your pattern should tell you. So we are going to count that as a stitch right now. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches. We finished the first row. I'm going to turn, and I need to get my hook up to the level of the next row to begin, because all crochet stitches are created below the level of the hook. So I need to climb a little ladder. Let's call it a chain 2 ladder. 1, 2 chains. That's my turning chain that gets me up to the level of the next row so I can create stitches below my hook. that turning chain is going to count as a stitch. So what you saw me do right there, that has magically become a half double crochet. I'm going to use a little pin to help me remember that. So that's my turning chain, and I'm going to put a marker in my top chain, not in the loop that's on my hook because that's not a chain, but into the top chain. If I put a stitch here in this first stitch, I'll be increasing. So I need to skip that and work into this next stitch. I'm going to work under both loops of the V that's at the top of that next stitch. To half double crochet, yarn over, go in under both strands, yarn over and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through 3. Make sure that that loop ends up on the fat part of the hook. Let's do that one more time. Yarn over, go under both strands of the V, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Do that all the way across. Now it looks like I've gotten across my row, but I haven't quite yet. Remember, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches, and now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. I need to work my last stitch into the top of that turning chain because it counts as a stitch. So I'm going to do a yarn over, go into that turning chain, and I've got 2 strands on top of my hook when I do that. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through everything. So now I have my 6 stitches. Turn and chain 2. I'm going to put another marker up here to remind me that that is a stitch. Now then, yarn over and go into this stitch because I don't want to go in here because I don't want to increase. So I'm going into this stitch and do my half double crochet and work in each of those V's across. Once I've worked across my row, I'm not quite finished. I've worked into the V's, which were easy, but I still have to remember to work into my turning chain. But look, I put a marker there, and that reminds me that I need to work into that turning chain, that I have not done that yet. It's easiest if I take this out first, but I know how to find that chain now. So I'll do one more stitch into that chain, and sometimes you have to dig a little bit to get that stitch in there. And there I am now. When I turn and chain, I will replace my marker. So each time I'm chaining, I'm putting a marker in the top chain. That helps me keep track of where that last stitch of the row is. If you'd like more instruction like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out the links in the video notes for more ways you can find me. Thanks for watching.